What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I have just seen Manchester United draw 0-0 against Crystal Palace in what was a very disappointing result. I do believe Manchester United deserved to come away with all 3 points simply due to Manchester United's dominant first half display. And even though Palace did have a couple of chances at the end or during the second half, I still believe if Manchester United had put away their chances that they had created in the first half, it would have been a completely different story. So the game kicks off and Erik Ten Hag actually goes with the same lineup that I went with in my preview. The only changes were Eriksen and Garnacho started ahead of Manuel Ugarte and Rashford, but apart from that it was the exact same team as last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Oh wait, no, I think Casemiro did start against Southampton. But in the midfield you had Eriksen and Mainu starting, who were both very tidy on the ball. And I feel like as if them two players had a good game. I think defensively overall Manchester United did play quite well as well. But in terms of the first half, Manchester United had a whole host of chances and they could have easily gone into half-time 3-0 up. 8 minutes gone and Xerxes plays Garnacho through after he beats the offside trap, and Henderson has to save to his left side, and that should have been 1-0 in my opinion. Garnacho should have scored that goal. He should have beaten Dean Henderson. Yes, it's a good save, but a player like Garnacho should be putting that away. A couple minutes later, 13 minutes gone, and Eriksen swings in a corner to Ligt, who heads straight at Henderson again. It was a free header for Ligt at the back post, and that should have been 2-0 as well. And early on in the game, I felt like Manchester United were putting on pressure with some early corners, and unfortunately they didn't manage to score through the set plays, which they were getting some success from creating these chances. 27 minutes gone and Garnacho actually hits the bar after Diego Dallo plays him in. Bruno then hits the bar from the rebound from Garnacho's shot, and that hits the bar too, and that should be 3-0. That's 3 good chances that Manchester United have created in the first 30 minutes, and it's 0-0 still. And 37 minutes gone, I saw in the commentary that Palace had no touches in the opposition box, so that just shows you how dominant Manchester United were in the first half. And 42 minutes gone, and Henderson has to make another save. This time Bruno whips in a cross and no one gets a touch, and it hits Henderson and it goes out for a corner. And Dean Henderson for Crystal Palace, he had a very good game. He had to make a couple of saves. And in terms of Manchester United, in terms of the half-time summary, I thought that Man United had a good grip on the match. It was kind of troubling because my stream kept freezing, unfortunately, so it was kind of difficult to keep an eye on what was going on. But in terms of Crystal Palace, I felt like as if they were allowing Manchester United possession and setting up pressing traps to win the ball back. But Man United were pretty neat and tidy on the ball, and I felt like Amad Diallo and Garnacho had a lot of joy down the wings, and I felt like they were unlucky to come away with like a goal or an assist. I think Garnacho definitely should have scored. But in terms of the first half stats, I'm having a look. It was 67% possession. Manchester United had 9 shots, 4 on target, with an 87% pass accuracy. It was a good display, and Manchester United were unlucky not to be leading at half time. In terms of Crystal Palace though, at the end of the first half, 44 minutes gone, they do have a chance. Mitchell, the left wing back, he cuts the ball back to Eze, who is in space near the penalty box, and his first time shot is a bit weak, and it's easily saved by Onana. And to be honest, Eze should have scored that as well. So in terms of the first half, Manchester United were very wasteful and very unlucky to be going into half-time at 0-0. I felt like Manchester United dominated the first half, especially in terms of possession, of course, and in terms of chances created. We reduced Palace to only like 2 shots and like a couple of touches in the opposition area, which is not great. Mateta was fairly quiet. Eze did have a okay game, but Mateta was very quiet, and he was bought off as well as Wharton for Lamar and Sarr in the second half. And so second half kicks off, and Ahmad cuts in and has a shot, and it's deflected. Palace tried to counter, but it's a poor pass from Lamar, and the chance for Palace comes to nothing. 53 minutes gone, and Manchester United have another chance. Mainu is on the turn. He receives a ball from Ligt. From Dilit's pass and turns before playing it to Bruno, who works a 1-2 with Xerxes on the edge of the box, on the edge of the 18-yard box. Fernandes uses the outside of his right boot, but fails to find the top corner, and his shot is wide. Henderson was completely rooted to his spot, and if it's on target, if that Bruno shot is on target in the 53rd minute, then it's a goal, because Dean Henderson doesn't even move. So that was also, even though it's a shot off target, if it's on target, Bruno, that's 1-0, because Dean Henderson is completely rooted to his spot. In terms of the also 60 minutes gone, Xerxes comes off for Rashford, and Rashford, he had 30 minutes, and to be honest, I don't think he had a great game when he came on. He was fairly quiet. He started at striker, but then later on he switched to the left wing when Højlund comes on for Ahmad. But Henderson in the 62nd minute then launches himself across the goal line to make a one-handed stop on Garnacho's effort. Garnacho had another effort which is saved by Dean Henderson. And 64 minutes gone, and Palace now have a chance to make it 1-0. Nketiah has a shot from the edge of the box. He's in space, and Nketiah has a shot, but it's saved by Onana. Ismail Sarr is about to get the rebound, but Onana kind of gets up very quickly and gets a second block on Sarr, and that really kept Manchester United in the game. It was an outstanding double save from Onana, and you see both goalkeepers, Dean Henderson and Andre Onana, having very good games. Both coming away with clean sheets, and I think they are the heroes for their side this match. But in terms of another chance for Palace, 71 minutes gone, and Eze has a chance from inside the box, and it's just wide. Palace work it very well around Manchester United, and they pass it well. It comes to Eze from inside the box, and he shoots just wide, and he should have scored that as well. I think Eze is unlucky to be coming away with no goals and no assists. He should have had at least one. To be honest, if all the goals go in, then I'm looking at a 3-1 win for Manchester United or something, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Eriksen then comes on for Ugarte, who was a little bit quiet, and Ahmad comes on for Højlund. This is Højlund's first appearance of the season, because he picked up a injury in pre-season, so he's been out for like a couple months. And I felt like Højlund and Rashford, who came on, I felt like as if they were both a little bit quiet. I think they could have offered a little bit more going forward, but Palace did tighten up in the second half, and they didn't allow Manchester United as many chances as they did in the first half. And I was expecting more from Rashford and Højlund, to be honest. And so finally, for the full-time summary, in terms of Palace in the second half, they were much more compact, and they didn't allow Manchester United space or chances, unlike they did in the first half. Manchester United's build-up play was slow, and they didn't move Palace out of their defensive shape quick enough. And the passing was slow for Manchester United. Too often than not, I just saw Lisandro Martinez just on the ball with no options, or he would be taking too many touches on the ball, and no one was kind of offering passing lanes or trying to open up that Palace defence in the second half. And Palace allowed Manchester United to play everything in front of them. So, in the final 30 minutes of the game, I thought that Palace were quite comfortable to be coming away with a point. It's up to Manchester United, as they are the better side, to kind of open up Crystal Palace and kind of go for the win there. If Man United have aspirations to be finishing inside the top four, then they really need to be coming away with 3 points at Selhurst Park, especially after all of the chances they had in the first half. But in terms of stats at full time, Man United finished with 67% possession. They had 15 shots and 6 on target. I think 4 shots on target came in the first half, and in the second half Palace reduced Manchester United to just 2 shots on target, and obviously they had 2 shots as well that were off target that hit the post and bar. So in terms of pass accuracy, Manchester United had 85% pass accuracy. I thought they were quite neat and tidy on the ball in possession, but like I said, everything was quite in front of Palace in the second half. I don't feel like as if Man United had that cutting edge to open up that Palace defence. And Rashford and Højlund were quite quiet in the second half. Garnacho was a little bit lively, and Garnacho was probably unlucky to be coming away from this game with no goals. But in terms of Manchester United, it was a good display defensively. For Manchester United, it was a decent display from Palace as well. Dean Henderson had a very good game, and Onana definitely kept us that clean sheet as well. So in terms of the post-match thoughts, Henderson and Onana come away as the heroes, and Palace and United are forced to share the spoils of a 0-0 draw at Selhurst Park. The absence of goals certainly was not due to a lack of trying, with Garnacho, Fernandes, Sarr and Nketiah all denied by the brilliance of the goalkeepers, with Onana's double stop on the Palace pair worthy of the year-end highlight reel. So the hosts struggled to find their feet in both halves, but eventually managed to settle into the occasion and ask questions of their opponents, with Eze's chance from 8 yards out sent wide the pick of the bunch. United found early success from corner kicks and attacks down the flanks, like I mentioned, from Ahmad and Garnacho, bypassing the clogged midfield. The midfield was pretty kind of tight in terms of space. The space was definitely out wide when Palace kind of pushed both of their wing backs forward. But in terms of XG, Manchester United an XG of 1.64 compared to the Eagles 0.98, and the draw keeps United in 11th position, ahead of a meeting with Tottenham at Old Trafford next Sunday, and with Erik ten Hag's team playing 20 in midweek in the Europa League. And Crystal Palace climbed to 16th in the table, and they play Everton next week. And in terms of insights, this was just the 4th goalless draw Manchester United have played out under Erik ten Hag in the Premier League. In 81 games that Erik ten Hag has managed in the Premier League, the first draw since drawing 0-0 with Liverpool in December 2023. Palace haven't won any of their first 5 games in the Premier League season. This season, drawing 3 and losing 2, the 5th time they failed to do so in a single campaign in the competition. The Eagles have been relegated on 3 of the previous 4 occasions when failing to win any of their first 5. And of teams they've faced more than 10 times in the Premier League, Manchester United have drawn 0-0 in a higher percentage of their games versus Crystal Palace than any other opponent in the competition. So in terms of final thoughts, I am quite disappointed that Manchester United have not been able to put away Crystal Palace after so many chances that they had in the first half. But in terms of attacking wise, I am disappointed with Højlund and Rashford. I do felt like Xerxes had a decent game linking up play. But I think he needs to be getting into the box a little bit more, and he needs to be kind of that predator in the box that Man United are lacking. Højlund and Rashford, again, I think they need to improve. They need to be going forward, they need to be better. But in terms of defensively, Manchester United did have a very good performance defensively. I think man of the match, if I was to pick one, I would have to go with Mazraoui. He was very neat and tidy on the ball and shut down his right side particularly well. I don't remember Palace gaining much joy from Manchester United's right hand side, and Mazraoui for me is man of the match. Anyway, for next Manchester United, it is 20 in the Europa League on Wednesday, and that is at Old Trafford. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.